Many foreigners dream of dating a Filipina, believing that life with her will be easy and full of love. Filipinas are known for their devotion, affection, and loyalty, making relationships with them feel like a dream. But is life with a Filipina really as good as it seems? Or are there hidden challenges that foreigners do not expect? Today, we will explore what it is really like to date a Filipina, the good, the unexpected, and the reality that every man should know before making a commitment. At first, everything feels perfect. When a foreigner meets a Filipina, he is immediately struck by her warmth and kindness. She greets him with a big smile, she is always polite, and she seems genuinely interested in him. Unlike in the West, where dating can feel like a constant struggle, here, a Filipina makes it easy. She expresses her emotions freely, she calls him love, or honey, after only a few days, and she constantly checks on him to see if he is okay. She makes sure he has eaten, she wants to spend time with him, and she makes him feel like he is the most important man in her life. For many foreign men, this kind of attention is something they are not used to. Back home, relationships might have felt distant, where both partners focused on their individual lives. But with a Filipina, love is about being together, caring for each other, and making the relationship the top priority. It feels refreshing, and it makes a man believe that he has finally found what he has been looking for. The relationship moves fast. Unlike in Western dating, where it might take months or even years before discussing the future, a Filipina will talk about serious commitment early on. She might mention marriage within the first few months. She introduces him to her family as soon as she feels that the relationship is serious. She makes plans, asks about his long-term goals, and wants to know if he is ready for a life with her. This can feel wonderful for a man who is looking for something stable and secure. At first, everything seems easy. She never argues, she never complains, and she always wants to make him happy. She supports his decisions, she avoids conflict, and she puts effort into making the relationship work. She is feminine, sweet, and affectionate. Unlike in the West, where independence is highly valued, in the Philippines, relationships are built on togetherness. A Filipina enjoys being close to her partner, spending time with him, and making him feel needed. Many foreigners find this attractive because it makes them feel respected and appreciated. But then, as time goes on, reality starts to set in. At first, her love and devotion feel like a dream, but soon, small things begin to change. She asks more questions: where he is going, who he is with, what time he will be back. If he does not reply to her messages quickly, she gets upset. If he wants to do something alone, she feels left out. What started as affection now feels like constant monitoring. Jealousy can become an issue. She might feel uncomfortable if he talks to another woman, even if it is completely innocent. She questions him if she sees a female friend liking his social media posts. She asks about his past relationships and wants to know everything about his dating history. At first, this might feel like a sign that she truly loves him, but over time, it can feel overwhelming. She needs constant reassurance that she is the only one, and no matter how many times he tells her, she still wants more proof of his commitment. Then, there is her family. In the beginning, a foreigner might think it is wonderful how close she is to them. He sees how much she cares for her parents, how she helps her siblings, and how she is always talking about family values. But soon, he realizes that her family is not just important to her, they are deeply involved in the relationship. She shares everything with them. If there's a problem between them, her mother or sister might know about it before he does. If she is unsure about something, she asks for her family's advice instead of discussing it with him first. And then, financial expectations begin to appear. At first, she never asks for money, but she talks about her family's struggles. She mentions that her younger sibling is having trouble paying for school fees. She shares stories about how her parents need medical help. She talks about how hard she works to support everyone. She never directly asks, but she hints at the problems, waiting for him to offer. Because he loves her, he wants to help. He gives a little money, thinking it is just a one-time thing. She thanks him, tells him how much she appreciates him, and reminds him that she never expected anything from him. But then, more requests come. It starts small, but soon, he realizes that he is helping not just his girlfriend or wife, but her entire family. This is where many foreign men start to feel pressure. They feel like they have taken on a responsibility they never agreed to. If they refuse to help, she becomes sad or distant. She does not demand, but she makes him feel guilty. He starts to wonder if the love is real or if he is being seen as a provider. At the same time, the deep connection he once loved starts to feel controlling. She expects him to always put her first, to never do anything without her, and to always reassure her of his love. If he wants space, she feels rejected. If he says no to helping with money, she questions if he truly cares. The relationship that once felt like a perfect dream now starts to feel like a responsibility. For those who marry too quickly, things can become even more complicated. Some foreigners believe that marriage will make everything better, that it will remove doubts, fix jealousy, and create a stronger bond. But in the Philippines, marriage is almost permanent. Divorce does not exist, and annulments are difficult and expensive. If a foreigner marries a Filipina without fully understanding what that commitment means, he may find himself feeling stuck. Some men stay in unhappy marriages because they feel guilty about leaving. Others realize too late that separating is not as easy as they thought. But not every relationship ends this way. Some foreigners take their time. They observe before making big commitments. They ask the right questions early. They talk about finances, family involvement, and expectations before things become serious. They set boundaries and make sure their Filipina loves them for who they are, not just for what they can provide. The foreigners who succeed in relationships with Filipinas are the ones who approach love with both heart and mind. They respect her culture, but they also make sure that their own needs are met. They build relationships based on trust, communication, and mutual understanding. So, is life with a Filipina as good as it seems? The truth is, it depends. Love in the Philippines is real, but it comes with expectations. If you take your time, communicate openly, and understand the cultural differences, you can build a strong, lasting relationship. But if you rush in blindly, believing only in the fantasy, you may find yourself facing unexpected problems. Before taking the next step, ask yourself, do I truly understand what this relationship involves? Have we talked about money, family, and expectations? Am I making this decision based on reality, or am I just caught up in emotions? If your answer is yes, then dating a Filipina can be one of the most rewarding experiences of your life. But if you have doubts, take your time. True love is never rushed. The best relationships are built on trust, understanding, and shared values. If you enter with both your heart and mind open, you may just find the love of a lifetime. At first, everything feels perfect. A Filipina is naturally sweet and loving, always making her partner feel special. She takes care of him, checks on him, and makes sure he is happy. Unlike in many Western relationships, where independence is emphasized, a Filipina enjoys being close to her partner, prioritizing the relationship over everything else. Many foreigners find this refreshing, believing they have found the perfect woman who is loyal, committed, and family-oriented. She wakes up early to prepare breakfast, even if she does not need to. She sends good morning messages and checks in throughout the day to make sure her partner is okay. She reminds him to eat, asks how his day is going, and always makes sure he feels appreciated. When he comes home, she greets him with a warm smile, ready to take care of him. She remembers small details about his life, the things he likes, the things that make him happy. She never seems too busy for him, never too distracted. Her love is full of effort, and she makes sure he never feels alone. She calls him a love, honey, or babe, and she is proud to show him off to her friends and family. Unlike in some cultures where relationships can feel distant or slow to develop, with a Filipina, everything moves naturally and quickly. She does not play games, she does not make him guess how she feels. If she loves him, she tells him. If she misses him, she lets him know. She is not afraid to express her emotions, and this kind of open affection can feel like a dream for many foreigners. She also values loyalty above everything else. When she commits to a man, she expects the same level of commitment in return. She sees the relationship as something serious, something worth protecting. She avoids conflict, she rarely argues, and she always tries to keep the relationship peaceful. She does not like unnecessary drama, and she does everything she can to make her partner feel comfortable and secure. But as time passes, the relationship starts to change. At first, her love felt effortless, but now, small things begin to surface. She starts to ask more questions: where he is, what he is doing, who he is with. She wants to be with him as much as possible, and when he is not around, she wants to know why. If he does not reply to her messages quickly, she becomes anxious. If he wants to spend time alone or with his friends, she wonders why he does not include her. She does not argue, but she gets quiet, a little sad, making him feel guilty for wanting space. At first, this level of attention felt like love. It felt good to be cared for so deeply. But now, it starts to feel like something more than just affection. It starts to feel like control. If he does something without her, she wants an explanation. If he is busy and cannot answer her immediately, she worries. If he talks to another woman, even casually, she becomes jealous. He reassures her, tells her she has nothing to worry about, but no matter what he says, she still doubts. Then, there is her family. In the beginning, he admired how close she was to them. He loved how much she respected her parents, how much she helped her siblings. It showed that she had good values, that she was a kind and caring person. But over time, he starts to see that family is not just important to her, it is a big part of their relationship. She consults them before making decisions. If there's a problem between the two of them, her family knows about it before he does. She listens to their advice, sometimes even more than she listens to him. Financial expectations start to appear. She never asked for money at first, but now she talks about her family's struggles more often. She tells him that her younger brother needs school fees, that her parents are getting older and need help with medical bills. She does not directly ask for money, but she shares these stories in a way that makes him feel like he should help. And so, he does. He loves her, so he wants to support her. At first, it is just a little money, nothing too much. But then, there are more problems, more expenses. What started as occasional help now feels like a responsibility. If he refuses, she does not get angry. She says she understands, but she seems disappointed. She becomes quiet, distant. She says she knows he does not have to help, but he can feel that she wishes he would. He starts to wonder, is she with him because she loves him, or because she expects him to provide? At the same time, her possessiveness grows stronger. She wants to be the center of his world. She wants to know that he only has eyes for her. She watches his actions closely, pays attention to how he behaves around other women. If she sees something she does not like, she questions him. She worries that he will leave, that he will find someone else. Even though he tells her every day that he loves her, she still needs proof. For some foreigners, this level of commitment is too much. They start to feel trapped, like they have no personal freedom. They love their Filipina, but they also miss the ability to do things without always having to explain themselves. They start to feel like they are always being watched, always being tested. For those who marry too quickly, the situation becomes even more difficult. Some foreigners believe that marriage will fix things, that it will remove insecurities, that it will make the relationship more stable. But in the Philippines, marriage is permanent. Divorce is not an option, and annulments are expensive and difficult. If a foreigner marries a Filipina without fully understanding what that commitment means, he may find himself in a situation where he feels trapped. Some men stay in unhappy marriages because they feel guilty about leaving. Others realize too late that separating is not as easy as they thought. They love their wife, but they also feel burdened by expectations they never agreed to. But not all relationships end this way. Some foreigners take their time. They do not rush into love just because it feels good in the beginning. They ask the right questions early in the relationship. They talk about finances, family expectations, and future plans before making any commitments. They set boundaries, making sure that their Filipina loves them for who they are, not just for what they can provide. The foreigners who succeed in relationships with Filipinas are the ones who approach love with both heart and mind. They respect her culture, but they also make sure their own needs are met. They build relationships based on trust, communication, and mutual understanding. So, is life with a Filipina as good as it seems? The truth is, it depends. Love in the Philippines is real, but it comes with expectations. If you take your time, communicate openly, and understand the cultural differences, you can build a strong, lasting relationship. But if you rush in blindly, believing only in the fantasy, you may find yourself facing challenges you never expected. Before taking the next step, ask yourself, are you truly ready for the reality of dating a Filipina? Over time, small things start to change. Her love, which once felt like pure devotion, starts to feel possessive. She wants to know where you are, who you are with, and what you are doing all the time. If you take too long to reply to her messages, she gets upset. What started as affection now feels like constant monitoring. Then, there is her family. At first, you admired how close they were. But now, you realize that they are deeply involved in your relationship. If they have financial problems, she expects you to help. If they have opinions about your relationship, she listens to them. Slowly, what once felt like a simple, loving relationship starts to feel more complicated. At first, you don't even notice it. You tell yourself it's just part of being in a loving relationship. She cares about you, and she just wants to be involved in your life. It feels good to have someone who is always thinking about you, someone who wants to be with you all the time. But then, the small things start adding up. She asks why you went out without telling her first. She asks why you didn't respond to her message right away. She wants to know if you are talking to any other women. At first, it seems innocent. But soon, you start feeling like you always have to explain yourself. One night, you go out with friends. You tell her where you are going, and she says it's fine. But while you are out, she sends multiple messages. She asks when you are coming home. She asks who you are with. She starts saying she misses you, that she feels lonely without you. If you take too long to reply, she asks if you are ignoring her. And when you finally get home, she seems sad. She doesn't say anything, but you can feel the tension. She wanted you to come home earlier. She wanted you to spend more time with her. She doesn't want to control you, but she also can't help feeling like she should always be included in your plans. Then there is her family. In the beginning, you thought it was sweet how close she was to them. She always talks about her parents, her siblings, her cousins. She visits them often, and she calls her mother every day. It's part of her culture, and you respect that. But then, you start to realize that they are involved in every part of her life, including your relationship. If you have a disagreement, she talks to her family about it before she talks to you. If she is feeling unsure about something, she asks her mother or sister for advice before discussing it with you. If you make a decision together, she still wants to check with her family before finalizing it. At first, it's just small things. She wants her parents to approve of you. She wants you to meet her family as soon as possible. But over time, you see that their opinions hold a lot of weight in your relationship. If her parents don't like something, she will think twice about it. If her siblings need something, she feels obligated to help. And eventually, she expects you to be part of that help as well. You start noticing small financial expectations. She never directly asks for money, but she tells you about her family's struggles. She tells you that her younger brother is struggling to pay for school, She mentions that her father's medication is expensive. She talks about how hard her mother works and how she wishes she could do more to help. She doesn't ask for anything, but she looks at you, waiting for you to offer. And so, you do. You love her, and you don't want her to worry. You give a little money here and there, thinking it's just a small gesture. But then, the next month, there's another problem. Another bill, another expense. Each time, it seems small, but after a while, you realize that you are being seen as the provider, not just for her, but for her whole family. If you say no, she doesn't get angry. But she looks disappointed. She says she understands, but you can feel the change in her. She starts acting distant, quieter than usual. And then, she tells you she doesn't want your money, she just wishes she could do more for her family. But the truth is, she was hoping you would do it for her. At the same time, you start feeling the pressure of her expectations. She expects full commitment. She wants to know that you are serious. She wants to know that you will never leave. At first, you told her you love her, and she believed you. But now, she needs more proof. She needs constant reassurance. She wants to be included in everything you do. If you ever seem distracted or distant, she worries. If you don't tell her you love her every day, she asks if something is wrong. If you spend time alone, she wonders why she wasn't invited. You start to feel like you have lost some of your freedom. You still love her, but you miss having time for yourself. You miss being able to go out without worrying about how she will react. You miss the early days of the relationship when everything felt easy. Now, it feels like you always have to be careful with your words, with your actions, with your decisions. For some men, this is the moment they realize they are not just in a relationship, they are part of a system of expectations they never fully understood. Some adjust and accept that this is part of dating a Filipina. They embrace the idea that family comes first. They understand that love here means being fully involved, emotionally and financially. They give without questioning, they reassure without hesitation. But others start feeling trapped. They realize they have taken on a bigger role than they expected. They thought they were just dating a woman, but now they feel like they are responsible for an entire family. They feel guilty when they say no, but they also feel exhausted from always saying yes. They start questioning whether the love is real or if they are just being seen as a provider. And then, for those who marry too soon, the situation becomes even more complicated. Many foreigners believe that marriage will make everything better. They think that once they are married, the jealousy will go away. That the financial expectations will stop. That the need for constant reassurance will disappear. But in many cases, it only becomes stronger. Marriage means commitment, and in the Philippines, commitment is forever. Divorce is not an option, and annulments are difficult and expensive. Some foreigners wake up one day and realize that they are in a situation they never planned for. They feel trapped in a marriage that they can't easily leave. They feel obligated to continue providing for a family that is not their own. They still love their Filipina, but they also feel overwhelmed by the responsibilities that come with it. But not every relationship ends this way. Some foreigners take their time. They ask the right questions before making a commitment. They talk about finances early in the relationship. They set boundaries. They make sure that their Filipina loves them for who they are, not just for what they can provide. The foreigners who succeed in relationships with Filipinas are the ones who approach love with both heart and mind. They respect her culture, but they also make sure their own needs are met. They build relationships based on trust, communication, and understanding. So, is dating a Filipina really as simple as it seems? The truth is, it depends. Love in the Philippines is deep, but it comes with expectations. If you take your time, if you communicate openly, if you understand the reality of what a relationship here means, you can have a happy and fulfilling relationship. But if you rush in blindly, believing only in the fantasy, you may find yourself facing challenges you never expected. Before you take the next step, ask yourself if you are truly ready for everything that comes with loving a Filipina. For some foreigners, the reality of dating a Filipina is overwhelming. They feel pressured to provide financial support, to always be present, and to prove their love daily. Some men rush into marriage, believing it will strengthen the relationship, only to later realize they were not prepared for the expectations. And in the Philippines, divorce is not an option, making it difficult to leave a marriage if things do not work out. Many men feel stuck in relationships they did not fully understand before committing. At first, everything seems perfect. A Filipina is naturally affectionate, caring, and deeply devoted to her partner. She makes him feel like the most important person in the world. She checks on him constantly, makes sure he is well fed, and prioritizes his happiness above everything else. Unlike in the West, where independence is often emphasized in relationships, here in the Philippines, love means togetherness. A Filipina wants to be with her partner as much as possible, and she does not believe in emotional distance. For many foreign men, this is exactly what they have been searching for. A woman who puts love first, who believes in commitment, and who values family above all else. But over time, they start to realize that this kind of love comes with expectations they may not have been prepared for. One of the biggest challenges is the financial responsibility that often comes with dating a Filipina. At the beginning of the relationship, money is rarely discussed. A Filipina will never ask for anything directly. She will make sure that her partner knows she loves him for who he is, not for what he can provide. But as the relationship becomes more serious, financial discussions start to appear in subtle ways. She may mention that her younger sibling is struggling to pay for school. She might talk about how expensive medical bills are for her parents. She could mention that her salary is not enough to support her family. She does not directly ask for help, but she shares these problems in a way that makes her partner feel like he should step in. And because he loves her, he does. He tells himself that it is only a small amount, that it is just to help in a moment of need. But then, more requests come. One month, it is school fees. The next month, it is rent. Then, a family member is sick and needs help with hospital bills. Each time, it seems reasonable. Each time, it feels like just one more favor. Until one day, he realizes that he is no longer just her boyfriend or husband, he is now also a provider for her entire family. If he ever refuses to help, she does not get angry, but she becomes distant. She says she understands, but she seems sad. She does not ask again, but he can feel her disappointment. And this is where many foreigners start to feel trapped. They love their Filipina, but they also feel like they are being slowly pulled into a financial obligation they never agreed to. At the same time, the constant need for reassurance starts to feel overwhelming. A Filipina's love is deep, but it is also intense. She expects full commitment, and she needs to feel secure in the relationship. If her partner does not reply to her messages quickly, she worries. If he spends time alone, she wonders why she was not invited. If he talks to another woman, even in an innocent way, she becomes jealous. At first, this possessiveness feels like love. It feels good to have someone who cares so much. But over time, it starts to feel controlling. She wants to know where he is, who he is with, and what he is doing at all times. If he does something without telling her first, she feels hurt. If he asks for space, she takes it personally. She wants proof of his love every day, through words, through actions, through time spent together. For some men, this is the moment they start feeling suffocated in the relationship. They still love their Filipina, but they also miss their freedom. They miss being able to make decisions without worrying about how she will react. They miss the days when love felt easy and effortless. And then, there's the pressure to get married. In Filipino culture, marriage is seen as the ultimate commitment. If a relationship is serious, marriage is the natural next step. A Filipina will not wait for years to see if things will work out. She wants stability, security, and a clear future. Some foreigners rush into marriage, thinking it will make their relationship even stronger. They believe that once they are married, the jealousy will disappear, the financial discussions will stop, and the need for constant reassurance will lessen. But in many cases, marriage only intensifies these expectations. And then, reality hits. The Philippines does not have divorce. If the marriage does not work out, the only way to legally separate is through annulment, which is expensive, difficult, and can take years. Some foreigners find themselves in unhappy marriages but feel like they have no way out. They do not want to abandon their wife, but they also feel burdened by expectations they never agreed to. But not every relationship ends in regret. Some foreigners take their time before making a commitment. They ask the right questions early. They set boundaries and make sure their Filipina loves them for who they are, not just for what they can provide. They communicate openly about money, family expectations, and personal space before making big decisions. The foreigners who succeed in relationships with Filipinas are the ones who approach love with both heart and mind. They respect her culture, but they also make sure their own needs are met. They build relationships based on trust, communication, and understanding. So, is dating a Filipina easy? The truth is, it depends. Love in the Philippines is real, but it comes with expectations. If a foreigner takes his time, communicates openly, and understands the cultural differences, he can build a strong, lasting relationship. But if he rushes in blindly, believing only in the fantasy, he may find himself facing challenges he never expected. Before taking the next step, every man should ask himself, am I ready to discuss finances openly? Am I prepared for the deep involvement of family in the relationship? Am I okay with constant emotional reassurance and commitment? Do I understand that marriage in the Philippines is permanent? If the answer is yes, then dating a Filipina can be one of the most rewarding experiences of his life. But if there are doubts, it is always best to take time and think carefully before making a life-changing commitment. True love is never rushed, and the best relationships are built on honesty, patience, and mutual understanding. So, is life with a Filipina as good as it seems? The truth is, it depends. Love in the Philippines is real, but it comes with expectations. If you take your time, communicate openly, and understand the cultural differences, you can build a strong and lasting relationship. But if you rush in blindly, believing only in the fantasy, you may find yourself facing challenges you never expected. Before taking the next step, ask yourself, are you truly ready for the reality of dating a Filipina? At first, everything feels perfect. A Filipina is naturally affectionate and caring, always making sure her partner is comfortable, happy, and loved. She checks on him throughout the day, prepares his meals, and makes him feel like he is the most important person in her life. Unlike in the West, where relationships often emphasize independence, a Filipina enjoys being close to her partner, prioritizing love and commitment above everything else. This can feel refreshing and exciting for many foreign men who have struggled with modern dating in their own countries. But as time passes, small things start to change. The attention and affection that once felt overwhelming in a good way now start to feel a bit excessive. She asks where you are, who you are with, and what you are doing at all times. At first, it seems like she just cares about you, but slowly, it starts to feel like constant monitoring. If you take too long to reply to her messages, she becomes upset or worried. If you go out without her, she asks why she wasn't invited. The more time passes, the more she expects to be a part of every aspect of your life. Then, there's the role of her family. In Filipino culture, family is everything. A Filipina does not just marry a man, she brings her whole family into the relationship. At first, this seems sweet. She introduces you to her parents and siblings early on, and they welcome you warmly. They make you feel like part of the family, offering food, smiles, and hospitality. You feel special, like you belong to something bigger. But soon, you realize that their influence is stronger than you expected. She does not make decisions alone. If there's a problem between the two of you, she talks to her family about it before discussing it with you. If her parents have an opinion about your relationship, she listens. And if her family needs help, financially or emotionally, she feels it is her duty to support them. In the beginning, she never asked for anything, but now, small requests start appearing. Maybe her younger brother needs money for school, or her parents have medical bills. She does not demand anything, but she tells you about these problems in a way that makes you feel like you should offer. And because you love her, you do. At first, it feels like a small sacrifice. You want to make her happy. But then, more problems arise. Another month, another expense. What started as small favors slowly turns into something more. One day, you wake up and realize that you are not just supporting her, you are supporting her entire family. And if you ever say no, she doesn't get angry, but she becomes distant. She says she understands, but she looks sad. She tells you that she wishes she could do more for them. And deep inside, you start wondering, was this love real, or were you just seen as a provider from the start? At the same time, you start feeling pressure in other ways. A Filipina's love is deep, but it also comes with intensity. She expects commitment and devotion, and she wants proof of it every day. If she feels like she is not getting enough attention, she worries. If she sees you talking to another woman, even in an innocent way, she becomes jealous. She asks if you still love her, if you are still serious about the relationship, if you are truly committed. No matter how many times you reassure her, she still needs more proof. For some men, this starts to feel overwhelming. They feel like they have lost their personal space. They miss the freedom to make decisions without constantly considering how their partner will react. They start to feel like the relationship is taking over their life. They love their Filipina, but they also feel exhausted from the constant need to prove their love. And then, there's the pressure to get married. In Filipino culture, marriage is seen as the ultimate commitment. If a relationship is serious, marriage is the natural next step. A Filipina will not wait for years to see if things will work out. She wants security, stability, and a future. Many foreigners rush into marriage, thinking it will make things easier. They believe that once they are married, the jealousy will disappear, the financial expectations will stop, and the relationship will feel more secure. But in reality, marriage only increases these expectations. And then, the biggest realization hits: there is no divorce in the Philippines. If the marriage does not work out, the only option is an annulment, which is expensive, complicated, and can take years. Many foreigners find themselves in unhappy marriages, feeling stuck with no way out. Some stay because they feel guilty about leaving. Others continue providing financially because they feel obligated. They still love their wife, but they also feel burdened by responsibilities they never fully understood before saying "I do." But not every relationship ends this way. Some foreigners take their time before committing. They ask the right questions early in the relationship. They set clear boundaries and make sure their Filipina loves them for who they are, not just for what they can provide. They communicate openly about finances, family involvement, and expectations. The foreigners who succeed in relationships with Filipinas are the ones who approach love with both heart and mind. They respect her culture, but they also make sure that their own needs are met. They build relationships based on trust, communication, and mutual understanding. So, is life with a Filipina really as perfect as it seems? The answer is, it depends. Love in the Philippines is real, but it comes with expectations. If you take your time, communicate openly, and understand the cultural differences, you can build a relationship that is strong, happy, and lasting. But if you rush in, believing only in the fantasy, you may find yourself facing unexpected challenges. Before making any big decisions, ask yourself: are you ready to discuss finances openly? Are you prepared for the deep involvement of family in your relationship? Are you okay with constant emotional reassurance and commitment? Do you understand that marriage in the Philippines is permanent? If the answer is yes, then dating a Filipina can be one of the most rewarding experiences of your life. But if there are doubts, take your time. True love is never rushed, and the best relationships are built on honesty, patience, and mutual understanding.